Shalom Israel, and happy Passover and a Feast of Unleavened Bread. I want to show you guys, share with you a part of my studies here. And so in Matthew 2:16 through 18, we see that it states that the events of King Herod killing children in Bethlehem is a prophecy spoken of in Jeremiah 31:15, mentioned here. In Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping, and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted because they are not. Important note here, in order to get clear contextual proof of this, you will need to go to Jeremiah 31:15. Before we get to Jeremiah 31:15, a clear indication of some things that I will show also is Jeremiah 31:15 is not actually about Christ, but in fact it's about the Most High bringing Israel out of captivity. We see this in Jeremiah 29 and 8 through 10. It says, "For thus says Yahuwah, the Sevaoth, the Elohai of Yasharel, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which ye have caused to be dreamed. For they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, says Yahuwah. For thus says Yahuwah, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babel, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you, and causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says Yahuwah, thoughts of peace and not evil, to give you an unexpected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me. Then when ye shall search for me with all your heart, and I will be found of you, says Yahuwah. And I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, says Yahuwah. And I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive." So we see also here that this is about Israel's captivity. Later on, chapter 30, the word that came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah, saying, "Thus speaks Yahuwah Elohai of Yasharel, saying, Write you all the words that I have spoken unto you in a sefer. For lo, the days come, says Yahuwah, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Yasharel and Yehudah, says Yahuwah, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it." So we see again, this is bringing Israel out of captivity. So in chapter 31, verse 15, just before this, actually, in 1 through 14, Yahuwah is stating the same thing, that he's going to be bringing Israel out of captivity from the bondage of Babel. So then it reads in 15 in context, "Thus says Yahuwah, our voice heard in Ramah lamentation and bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children because they were not." Here you would think that they were killed. If you read on, you see otherwise. "Thus says Yahuwah, refrain your voice from weeping and eyes from tears, for your work shall be rewarded, says Yahuwah, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy, and there is hope in your end, says Yahuwah, that your children shall come again to their own border." So if the children were killed, how could they come into their border? Another important note is Daniel 9 also actually mentions this exact event and prophecy, because Daniel himself was living in the exact prophecy and captivity spoken of in Jeremiah. We find that here in chapter 9. "In the first year of Deravesh, the son of Ahashverosh, of the seed of the Madai, which was made king over the realm of the Casdim. In the year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by the Sepharim the number of the years whereof the word of Yahuwah came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolation of Jerusalem." Later we see where the Most High also gives from his angel Gabriel, the meaning of the 70-year captivity, what it means, and when this would end. So it says 24 in verse 24, 70 weeks are determined for the people in the holy city, weeks meaning years, to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make atonement for iniquity and to bring everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and the prophet and to anoint the Holy of Holies. Know and understand that from the going forth of the word to return and to build Jerusalem unto Mashiach the Prince is 7 weeks. Now here many will say that this verse mentions is referring to Jesus Christ, who many refer to as Jesus Christ or Yahushua HaMashiach. But I will show you that this is not so. And 62 weeks, diligently building the wide street in times of distress. And after the 62 weeks, Mashiach is cut off, but nothing of the holy city is ruined. And the people of the prince to come, the end of which is in a flood, and even unto the end of the battle, devastation is determined. And the strength of the covenant multiplies for 1 week, and in the middle of the week, the sacrifice and the oblations cease. And upon the end, abominations destroyed until the consummation is determined and poured over the desolations. So we see here that this so-called Messiah, or this anointed one, would be part of the prophecy and ending the 7-year captivity. I'm going to show you also here. So in Daniel chapter 10, verse 1, we give a hint of who that person may be. It says, in the year of Koresh, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belshazzar. And the thing was true, but the time appointed was long, and he understood the thing, and had no understanding of the vision. So in order to clarify that Koresh, or Cyrus the king, was the anointed Messiah mentioned in Daniel 9, we would have to go to specific scripts to clarify this. So we get this first through chapter 44 of Isaiah, starting at verse 24. It says, thus says Yahuwah, your Redeemer, and he that formed you from the womb. I am a Yahuwah that makes all things, that stretches forth the heavens alone, that spreads abroad the earth by myself, that frustrates the tokens of the liars, and makes diviners mad, that turns wise men backward, and makes their knowledge foolish, that confirms the word of his servant, and performs the counsel of his messengers, that says to Yerushalayim, you shall be inhabited, and to the cities of Yahuwah ye shall be built, and I will raise up the decayed places thereof. That says to the deep, be dry, and I will dry up your rivers. That says of Koresh, Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and shall perform all my pleasure, even saying to Yerushalayim, you shall be built, and to the temple your foundation shall be laid. Further off in Isaiah 45, thus says Yahuwah to his anointed, to Koresh, Cyrus, whose right hand I have held to subdue nations before him, and I will loosen the loins of kings to open before him the 2-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut. The last to second script that we're going to look at is Ezra. It's first Ezra. This is also more context of who that Messiah was spoken of in Daniel 9 in reference to Jeremiah. Now, this is first Ezra chapter 1. Now, in the first year of Koresh, king of Persia, that the word of Yahuwah by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled. Yahuwah stirred up the Ruach of Koresh, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, thus says Koresh, king of Persia, Yahuwah Elohai of heaven has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has charged me to build him a house at Yerushalayim, which is in Yehuda. Who is there among you of all his people? Elohim be with him, and let him go up to Yerushalayim, which is in Yehuda, and build the house of Yahuwah Elohai of Yasharel. He is the Elohim, which is in Yerushalayim. And whosoever remains in any place where he sojourns, let the men of his place help him with the silver, and with gold, and with goods, and with beasts, beside the freewill offering for the house of Elohim that is in Yerushalayim. Further down, starting in verse 5, we see that the things that Nebuchadnezzar took out of the house of Yahuwah through the Most High, using Koresh or King Cyrus, they brought those very things back. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Yehuda and Benjamin, and the priest and the Leviim, with all them whose Ruach Elohim had raised, to go up to build the house of Yahuwah, which is in Yerushalayim. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, with gold, with goods, and with beasts, and with precious things, beside all that was willingly offered. And also Koresh the king brought forth the vessels of the house of Yahuwah, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Yerushalayim, and had put them in the house of his Elohim. Even those did Koresh king of Persia bring forth by the hand of Mithridath the treasurer, and numbered them unto Sheshbazzar the prince of Yehuda. And this is the number of them: 30 charges of gold, 1,000 charges of silver, 9 and 20 knives, 30 basins of gold, silver basins of a second sort, 410, and other vessels 1,000. All the vessels of gold and of silver worth of 5,400. And all these did Sheshbazzar bring up with him of the captivity that were brought up from Babel unto Yerushalayim. So we're going to look at 2 Chronicles chapter 6. And from chapter 6 to verse 20, which I'm not going to read, but if you read it, you will see this also details the events of Israel being taken into captivity again by Babel. But chapter 20 also shows how they were going to be being brought out according to the prophecy of Jeremiah. Read here. And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babel, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia, to fulfill the word of Yahuwah by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Shabbats. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Shabbats, to fulfill 70 years, the 70-year prophecy in captivity. Now in the first year of Koresh, king of Persia, that a word of Yahuwah spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished. Yahuwah stirred up the Ruach of Koresh, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus says Koresh, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth has Yahuwah Elohai of heaven given me, and he has charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Yehudah. Who is there among you of all his people? Yahuwah Elohai be with him, and let him go up. So this is proof that Matthew 2:16 through 18 actually takes Jeremiah's prophecy out of context. Also concludes that Daniel 9 was not about Christ as well, but in fact about King Cyrus of Persia. All praise be to the Most High.